Hello, good afternoon guys. Sachin Patel here, coach and mentor for doctors and dentists. Those of you that know me, hello again, and for those of you that don't, just a very brief introduction. I'm a GP, now turned full-time coach and mentor for doctors and dentists, and I work with doctors and dentists to help them get rid of stress, create more time, and increase income. What I'd like to share with you today is one of the very common things that I talk to my clients about and that my clients approach me for. Normally something I charge about $9,000 for a package for optimization of earnings. And I've got loads of great free content that I just want to share with you because I hope you'll find it really useful. And I know that you'll be able to take it home and apply it. And when you do apply it, you'll be able to start making some changes and positive improvements for yourself. If you're not a doctor and you're watching this, the principles that I talk about are applicable in any business, but I'm really focusing on medicine because helping doctors is my passion. So, the thing I want to talk to you about today is what you need to measure, and before you increase try and increase any income. And I'm just going to share with you what I do with my clients. So, the first thing that we do when anyone approaches me is I ask them, are they committed? Are you committed to being awesome or a master of your craft? Because if you are, then I can help you. If not, then I can't help, because my belief is that if you want to earn well, then first you need to do a damn good job. And so that's what it's all about, being a master of your craft. For those of you that have seen my last video about being the ultimate doctor, I talked about the 5 L's. That's really the foundation of what I talk about with a client before we go anywhere, sort of any steps forward. And if they are not interested in being awesome or being an ultimate doctor or the ultimate doctor, then we don't really go any further. So once we've sort of worked through that, I share with them the pieces of my model of the 5 L's, and then we go on to the next stage, which is actually talking about measurement. So before you aim to change anything in business or in life, you really want to be measuring where you're at so that you know what you're going to change, and then you can judge the improvements that you hope to bring about. So what do we need to measure? Now, what I'd just like to say before we move forward, the stuff I'm sharing with you is applicable whether you're an individual doctor or whether you are a practice owner. So it's applicable to anyone. And I truly believe, as doctors, we are here to do our very best by the patient, but it's also only right that we get paid properly for doing so. And if you consciously choose not to charge or leave what I call money on the table, that's fine. But it's important to be conscious of what you're doing and whether you're getting the rewards that you should be getting in the context of what you're doing. So, what do we measure? It's very simple. It's five things. Those 5. So, first one, and I'll try and explain them as we go through, so you have an understanding of the terminology. It's probably alien to most doctors. So, the first thing is something called leads. So, number of leads. So, in a medical context, that's the number of people that contact you with the potential of booking an appointment or being converted into a patient. So typically that might be the phone calls that we get. So number 1, leads. Number 2, how many of those are converted to appointments? So conversions. That's the other terminology. So not everyone that calls will be funneled into an appointment. Now, as an individual doctor or a contractor, you may think, well, that's got nothing to do with me. Why are you telling me about that? Let me be clear with this. Just because you're a contractor does not mean you should ignore this. In fact, you should have some active participation in this, because it will help make your practice better. And if it makes your practice better, it will improve your lot. And all of that does our number 1 aim, which it helps patients. So if we have a better practice, if we're happier, we're in a better place to help our patients, and that's what we're all here for. So, leads, conversions. You just need to have an interest in those. You don't have to fully control them, but you should have an interest. If you're a practice owner and you're not measuring this, you need to go back after this video and you need to work out a way that you're measuring these two. Now, next, this is number of transactions. So typically for an individual doctor, that's the number of billed appointments that you make. So the number of appointments that you finish that are billed. So that's your sales, number of transactions. Then the next thing is your average transaction value, or your average billing per consultation. The way you measure that is you take your total billings, divide it by number 3, which was the number of transactions, and that gives you your average billing per transaction. Pretty simple? Yes, hopefully. And finally, number 5 is something called margins. Now, in the context of a contracting doctor, that's to do with the percentage split between the practice and the doctor. Now, it can be very tempting, and it's common bone of negotiation that this is an area where people are trying to squeeze the practice for. I can tell you this is the one you want to deal with last. This is really not one you ideally want to be squeezing, even though it's the one that most people try and squeeze first. They try and get the practice to lower the service fee. As a former practice owner and someone that helps many practices, I can tell you that this inevitably leads to cost cutting and reduction in service quality by the service entity. So you really want to protect the practice whilst boosting your income, because it then creates a win-win scenario. And the best business is done when it's win-win for, in a medical context, win for the patient, number one, win for the doctor, and win for the practice. That's the way we want to aim for. And that way we have great relationships, which helps everyone going forward. So I'd strongly suggest that margins and trying to negotiate or over-negotiate percentages is probably the bottom of the pile when you're looking at in trying to increase your income, whether as an individual doctor or as a practice owner. So simple, we've got them there. So that's the 5 things that we're talking about. So number 1, we're talking about leads. Number 2, conversions. Number 3, number of transactions, number of sales. Number 4, average consultation billing. And number 5, margins. So what I'd like to do, hopefully this is useful information to you. It has been for all my clients, so I've no doubt sort of to believe that it will be for you. What I'd like to do next is a series of videos to show you how we can work on each of these areas to then increase our sort of overall revenue. So if that interests you, or there's something else that you'd like to know about, if you can just either put a like or a heart or a yes down below, and if there's anything specific that you want me to sort of do some more information or content about, I'm more than happy to do it. Just put the details down below, or send me a personal message. And if you want to keep up to date with these videos, they come out fairly regularly, then just hop on my Facebook page and you can like it and follow it, and then you'll get info as and when these things are available. So thank you very much once again. So that's the first step, which is measuring the 5 variables, which is the first step in trying to boost your consultation-based or personal services income. I'm Sachin Patel, coach and mentor for doctors and dentists, and thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Thank you. Bye.